Beside the Palm, Season 4, Episode 1.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Beside the Palm. I feel like it's been so long since we've done one of these. Took a break over Christmas. And we are delighted to welcome Virginia Stout to the hot seat today. She is not excited at all, as you can tell. Thank you for making time on your very busy day, as I can see in the background for us.
Very busy day. Lots of things on my to-do list.
So for those of you who don't know Virginia, I'm so sorry because you're missing out. But Virginia does everything at the church, right? You sing in chancel, you play handbells, you help with pure sound, you play for tapestry players, play flute, you play in worship. But anything else that I've forgotten? I think that's
pretty much it.
Yeah. So really, we're excited to have you today. So we always start out, as you know. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how you came to St. Luke's, how long you've been here, all that good stuff?
Sure. I think I've been at St. Luke's for 13 years, maybe 14. I moved from the Fort Worth area down to the Houston area for a teaching job. And a doctor that I was under the care of in Fort Worth did his residency in Houston. And he and I went to church together in the Fort Worth area. And so when he learned that I was moving to Houston and I had to, say, please transfer my medical records, he said, do you know of a church down there that you want to go to? And I said, I am happy to have your recommendation, since you know the kind of churches I like to go to, since we go to the same church. So he recommended St. Luke's because he attended St. Luke's when he was in his doctor school of some kind, like residency or I don't know. And so I came to St. Luke's, and a very warm, wonderful person in the congregation said, why don't you try this Sunday school? So I tried a Sunday school, and the folks in the Sunday school told me about Sid Davis. And then I helped out with
They said, stay away from him, right?
No, they said, I think he needs to know who you are. And I said, okay. And so I helped out with a Pure Sound production, like straightening bows for costumes or something. And then from then on, I was just part of Pure Sound.
So, okay, so you didn't join chancel choir at first then, you were...
Oh, I think I did it all. Okay, so I joined chancel choir. I joined chancel choir pretty quickly. Yeah, it was chancel choir first and then Pure Sound, but okay. Yes.
Nice. So what kind of musical background do you have? You obviously, sing with us, you play the flute.
Well, I am not a trained singer, actually. I took one college singing class, and that's like one semester, and it was because all music education majors that were instrumentalists had to take a vocal class. And I was shaking in my boots the entire time because you mean I have to stand up and sing in front of people? Like, I can sing, but you want me to sing in front of people? What? So I started taking piano lessons in elementary school, and then in 6th grade I started flute and band, and I had never really sung in a choir before at all. St. Luke's is the first choir I've ever sung in.
Wow. Why did you decide you wanted to play flute?
Okay, so it was some sort of patriotic holiday, maybe Memorial Day, maybe 4th of July, and I was probably 5 years old, and I was standing on a step stool in my parents' kitchen, and we were doing that sugar cookie thing where you cut out with the cookie cutters.
Oh yeah.
My mom had, at the house where I grew up, and at this house I live in now, actually, it's not the same house, but both houses have this like speaker system that goes throughout the house, and you can page people, and oh, I love it.
We had one of those too when I was little.
Oh, I love it.
The intercom system, yeah.
Yes, yes. And so my mom frequently played classical music and had it just going through the house. And so there was a Sousa march playing, Stars and Stripes Forever, and it got to the part where the piccolos just go crazy. I love that part. And I said, Mom, what is that instrument? And she said, that's the piccolo. And I said, I'm going to play that one day. And she said, oh, I think you have to learn how to play the flute first. And I said, I'm going to learn how to play that first then, and then I'm going to play the piccolo. And anytime I hear Stars and Stripes Forever, I just stop where I am. Middle of the street, it doesn't matter. I just say, wait, I can hear it. I have to wait for the parts. And I've played that piccolo part so many times, and it continues to bring me joy. So that's how I came to the flute. It was just, that's my instrument.
I love that. Did you ever aspire to do music professionally, or was that always just something you wanted to kind of keep as something you enjoyed on the side as a hobby?
Well, so I have type 1 diabetes, and I was diagnosed when I was 18. And so I always knew I wanted to be a teacher. But when I entered college and I thought, okay, I always thought, don't get a performance degree, get an education degree, because you can perform with an education degree, but you can't teach with a performance degree in schools, you know?
Yeah.
So not to knock anybody with a performance degree, because degrees are degrees, but I knew I wanted to be a teacher. But I think that some of the freelance lifestyle, because I needed to have something with like super stellar, awesome medical insurance, and a steady stream of income that would give me stability to help manage the disease. I mean, I couldn't audition for military bands, and I didn't want to say, oh, I want to audition for a symphony, or I want to audition for to be an adjunct professor or professor. I saw how hard my professors worked and how many different places they had to be to earn that income, which is, you can make an income as a performer. Absolutely, you can. But I think looking at the needs of my disease paired with my want to be a teacher, I thought music education's for me. So performing brings me great joy. It brings me so much happiness. But I think lifestyle wise, it just wasn't in the cards for me.
Yeah. Well, your performing always brings us much joy too. So we're grateful for that. Since you're kind of talking about it, my next question was, tell us about your job outside of all the wonderful things you do at St. Luke's.
So this is where I have to give the legal disclaimer of, I'm going to speak about being a public school educator, but I represent only my own opinions. I do not represent any opinions of the school district I work for, or my colleagues, or my school, or Texas teachers in general. This is just me. So I'm a very proud public educator in Texas. I started teaching elementary music, and I taught elementary music for 13 years. And for this is my 4th year being an elementary assistant principal. I taught for 12 years, and then I'm an elementary assistant principal. Yeah.
What's the best part about that job?
Well, this past week, we had our students working on the super secret project, and they were submitting things that they loved about our school. We have the 100th day of school coming up. And so I think by the time this airs, the cat will be out of the bag. But we're going to surprise our teachers with a really long poster, like that bulletin board paper, that has 100 reasons why our kids love being students at our school. It's a hard year for teachers. It's a really hard year for teachers with social distancing and sanitizing and teaching online and on-campus students at the same time. It's just a really hard year. So I sent all of our students at our school, we have about 640 students, I sent them a little message on our learning platform. And I said, if you want to be part of this super secret project, then click here and fill out this Google form. So I set it up to where the Google form auto-populated into Google Slide, and we'll print it out. And it's really cool the way it all is. So I started reading the things that they're writing, and it's just, oh my gosh, it just brings a smile to my face. So I started calling the parents, and I said, hey, your kid is so cool. They took the time to send their teacher this message, and it's a super secret project. They didn't have to do it. It was an extra thing. And I love that moment when I call a parent and I say, hi, this is Virginia Stout. I'm so-and-so's assistant principal at this elementary school. And you hear that moment of, oh no,
Oh no.
What did they do? And I say, they're fine. Nothing's wrong. Everything's fine. I wanted to call and tell you about something wonderful that they did. Do you have a couple of minutes? And so they say, oh, yeah. And so my favorite one this week, I did a lot of that this week. So I think all of this is to say, just calling home and connecting with families and telling them how great their kids are and what an awesome job they're doing with their children in their home. So one of the parents, I said, okay, so they didn't write a lot, but I'll tell you what they wrote. And it's just something like, I like my teacher, and they use their name because the school is great or something. But and the kid is just a person of few words. And I told the mom this, and the mom said, you know what, they are a person of few words, but when they do speak, it is very heartfelt. And I said, I know this about your child. I agree, absolutely. So I really love connecting with families.
Yeah. Well, that's so great. This, you may have just answered my next question actually too, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Um, we were, great when we were coming up with these questions. We were thinking, we can't imagine what past year has been like for teachers. I mean, it's just crazy for all the reasons you just talked about. Um, and so we don't want to dwell on all those things, but I'm curious, what are some of the things that keep you going every day through all that?
Every day I have to be in a class with kids, and I'm not teaching the class because that's the role of the teacher now, but I have to be seeing kids do something in a class because the tiny humans are like, they hold my heart so close. So I have to see kids in class, and it's so easy to get caught behind my desk answering the phone calls. And we have a lot of parents who are calling us. We have a lot of concerned parents about how school is going these days, things like that. And working on the nitty gritty, we get calls to clean classrooms, we get calls to help teachers do this or help teachers do that. But I really, 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 really treasure making it a point to be in someone's class, preferably multiple classes every day. That's where I find my joy. And I know that at this point in the school year, the teachers are able to see that their students are growing. They did like a beginning of the year benchmark assessment. How are they reading? What do they know about math? Things like that. And they said, whew, at the beginning of the year, because there was basically an entire school year between spring break and when kids were back in school.
Yeah,
and so they saw, where we were starting. And now mid-year, there are some students who have just made incredible growth. It's just fantastic. And our kids are resilient. We'll be having to feel the effects of this for a long time in education, but really the resiliency of our young people is really coming through.
Yeah. Well, we're so grateful to people like you who help them get through it. For a total just left turn now, I hear there's an interesting story about you and a squirrel in your bathroom.
Yes.
And I think people might want to know about that.
Okay, it could be a bit lengthy, but I'll try to dish it out as fast as I can.
Maybe we can have Grace condense it all down and speed it up, and so you sound like a little squirrel voice or something.
Yes. Okay, so it was my first year teaching, and I was living at home with my parents in Fort Worth, saving up that good teacher money, that first year teacher money where we all rack it in. So I came home from school one day, and my dad was already home, which was not normal. And I thought, are you okay? And he said, yes, I had a doctor's appointment. So I left work early, went to the doctor, and came home. Oh, cool. So I go back to my bedroom, which is also where my desk is and my hutch, and it's like where my one room place is. So I put all my stuff down, and as people do when they come in the house and they put their stuff down, they need to go to the bathroom. So I put all my stuff down and I go into the bathroom. And my mom had at that time the really frilly like toilet seat cover on there. So there it has like the elastic that goes underneath the seat part, like the lid, sorry, the lid cover.
Yeah.
So I, got to lift the lid up to use the restroom. And when I lift the lid up, I see this, whatever I think it is. I don't know now I know it's a squirrel, but at the time I was like, what is that? Because it was this wet thing, but it was hanging on to that little elastic band on the underside of the lid. And so I slammed the lid back down and I ran down the hallway and I said, Dad, there is something in the toilet. And he said, did you flush? And I said, Dad, it is not that. You have to come see. So he's like, okay. So he comes down the hallway and he lifts up the toilet lid and he slams it back down. He said, okay, that is a squirrel. And I said, oh my God, a squirrel. What are we going to do, Dad? What are we going to do? And he said, okay, I need you to go get me a pair of gloves. And I'm thinking, nasty, because the squirrel's been in the toilet. I don't even know how it got in the house. Like probably through the toilet. Is it through the clean water? Is it through the dirty water? I don't really know how toilets work with that. So what did it swim through? And I think that is nasty. So he closes the bathroom door in case the squirrel comes out to keep it contained. He said, go get me a pair of gloves. And I said, okay. So in my mind, I think gross, dirty water, clean water, squirrel, icky, gross, bathroom, gross. And I think what he needs is a pair of latex gloves because that's what people use when they touch nasty things because they don't absorb. So I go to my mother's bathroom sink where she has her gloves that she uses when she colors her hair. And so I get the latex gloves or the, non-latex gloves or whatever from under the sink and I knock on the door. Dad, I have the gloves. He said, okay, open the door, throw them in. Okay. So I open the door, I throw them in, I shut the door. And he says, very calmly, I can't believe I did this. Virginia? Yes, Dad? These are not the gloves I need. The squirrel will bite right through these gloves. I need my leather gloves that I use in the yard. Oh, right. Okay, right. So I run down the hall. I go through the kitchen. I go through the laundry room. I get to the leather gloves. I run all the way back through the house and I say, Dad, I have the gloves. Are you ready for the gloves? And he says, yes, just open the door and toss them in. I'm like super manic. So I open the door and toss them in and I shut the door. And he said, okay, now I need you to go get Samantha, who's our little Shih Tzu at that time. She was blind, she was deaf, like she was really great at getting in the way of when you needed to move quickly. She'd be like, I can feel my Jedi sense is telling me I need to be in this pathway. He said, go unlock the screen door on the front door, the storm door, and then go open the actual front door. So that way, when I capture this thing, you can let me know when that's ready and let me know when you're holding the dog. And I said, okay. So I go to the front door, I unlock it, I open it, I unlock the storm door. It's like all glass, and then I grab the dog and I go back to the bathroom and I say, okay, Dad, this is ready, and I have the dog. And he said, okay, now when I tell you to open the door, I need you to open the door because that means I have the squirrel, and then I need you to run and I need you to open the storm door because I'm going to be coming through the house with the squirrel. And I said, okay. So in the meantime, he's been in the bathroom and he's been thinking through his plan. How am I going to get this squirrel out of the toilet? How am I going to capture it? So we have a linen closet in there. So he has a couple of towels and things, and he lifts up the toilet lid and the squirrel runs out of the toilet and is running around the bathroom. And I hear him say, oh no, oh, hey little buddy, you got to come down from there. No, you don't need to be that high up. Come here, I can't get you. No, Becky wouldn't like that you're climbing on those curtains. Now you need to come down here, right? And he's just talking to the squirrel. Finally, he says, okay, Virginia. Oh, and in the same squirrel voice that he's talking to me, okay, Virginia, I'm about to get this squirrel. And I said, okay, Dad, I'm ready. He goes, do not open the door yet. I'm not ready yet. So he finally captures the squirrel in the tail. He goes, open the door. And I said, okay. So I open the bathroom door and I ran down the hall, and my little Shih Tzu, Samantha, she's like, all the way down the hallway because I'm running with her so fast. And I run and I open the storm door and I hold it really wide, really wide open. So that way he can run straight through. He runs down the sidewalk. He takes the towel, he shakes it out, and the squirrel does 2 or 3 flips in the air and then runs in the yard. Like, what was that? And then runs away.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that is like a sitcom episode in the making right there. And you have no idea how the squirrel got in still?
We had a plumber out to the house many times for different things, and we said, hey, this weird thing happened. So they think it was such a baby squirrel that it was able to just went in the wrong pipe somehow in the house.
Wow.
And yeah, it's a wonderment.
Oh, that's so funny. Thank you for sharing that story with us. I don't even know what to say after that. That's just...
Well, I'll tell you this. When I came home, I moved to Houston, and then I came home one time to visit in Fort Worth, and my parents had placed a stuffed animal squirrel. They had added some vines to the curtains by the toilet, and they placed the stuffed animal squirrel so it was sort of like eye level. Mm-hmm. I said, very funny, very funny.
Too funny. I love that. Well, I don't have anything more to say, so we're just going to move on. So, do you have any other hobbies outside of what we've talked about that you like to do? And I ask because I know that recently you may have roped my wife into joining you in one of these hobbies.
Yes. My friend Megan, who's in the choir as well, we've been taking tap dance classes. I think this was our 3rd year. We're finally figuring out our right foot from our left foot, so that's a positive. And I've asked, I finally got Grace to come and try it with us. So on Tuesday nights, we have Tap Tuesday. So we go take a tap class. It's about an hour at a local dance studio here in Katy. So it's so much fun. We did a recital one year and we made our teacher do the recital with us. So there's a retired engineer named Mr. Roberts in the class. And he is an amazing dancer. He used to do a lot of social dancing and tango dancing. So he has amazing movement with his feet. So anyway, he's in the class and it's Megan and me and now Grace. And so we're excited. We did the recital, with all the tiny humans. And then there were the adult taps.
We live on the 2nd floor apartment, and fortunately right now, no one lives below us because Grace gets home, what time you guys get home, like 9:30, 10 o'clock on Tuesdays. And she's like, wait, I have to show you what we learned. And she'll just break into her tap on our hardwood floors.
Awesome.
So thankfully we have no one living below us right now, but and it may
really
stay
cool.
that way if she keeps taking taps. So,
Yes.
was there any other ones you wanted to share? Or is that your main one?
Oh, that's my main one. I keep myself pretty busy, but I love
I know
tap.
you're always doing stuff. We're always amazed at how much you're doing. So I'm sure you're prepared for this, but we always ask now, what are your 5 favorite things?
I'm prepared. In
I
fact, I
figured
wrote them down, so
I
would not
saw you
forget.
just look down just now, maybe at a list.
Yes. Okay. So Tap Tuesdays is one of my 5 favorite things. Love those tap dance classes. You can walk in with all the worries on your heart of anything that's worrying you, and you walk out going, you know what? I feel a whole lot better about that. It's the cheapest therapy I've ever had. So Tap Tuesdays for sure. I've really gotten into a new show that's showing on PBS, and I know that it was in the UK at the beginning of the pandemic, and now it's finally over here. It's All Creatures Great and Small.
Heard
It's
of it.
oh my gosh, it's so good. It's about early 20th century veterinarians
Mhm.
helping animals and families, and I'm only in season 1, episode 5, because that's the only amount that's been shown, but I love it. Pure Sound, that is definitely one of my top 5. I love spending time on Sunday afternoons with our young people. My 2 puppy dogs, Oscar and Amaryllis, and I just wouldn't feel like myself unless I mentioned that one of my 5 favorite things is chocolate. I love chocolate.
Of course. Okay, now, actually, no, we'll get to that in a minute. Was that 5? I got distracted.
That was 5.
Okay, good. So
Let's
that
see.
means
Tap
that
Tuesdays, All Creatures Great and Small, Pure Sound,
dogs
Pup,
and
and
chocolate.
chocolate.
Yeah, good. Well, you'll see why I've stopped myself, because we're going to move on to the rapid fire round now, which, yes. Okay. All right. Just making sure you're prepared. I have my questions here. You know the drill. You get 1 minute to answer. I think we have 20 questions. And if you win, you get absolutely nothing except bragging rights to David Gow, because I think he was our first one and he hates it every time someone else joins his fancy little club.
The winner's
So,
circle.
yeah, the winner's circle. All right. So I got my timer set here for 1 minute, and we'll get going in 3, 2, 1. Favorite season?
Winter.
Scarf, hat, or gloves?
Hat.
What color is your toothbrush?
Purple.
How do you take your coffee?
I don't.
Favorite donut flavor?
Regular.
McDonald's or Burger King?
McDonald's.
Going to the store or online shopping?
Store.
Car or airplane?
Airplane.
Cook or order in?
Cook.
Chocolate, dark milk or white?
Milk.
City or countryside?
Country.
Last thing you ate?
A cookie.
Photographs or paintings?
Paintings.
Fiction or nonfiction?
Fiction.
Have you ever been skydiving?
No.
Crest or Colgate?
Crest.
Righty or lefty?
Righty.
Print or cursive?
Print.
Crowns or markers?
Markers.
Water, sparkling or still?
Still.
You had 10 seconds left. Congratulations.
I felt I was in the zone.
You were in it. I'd be curious. That may be the most time we've had left, actually. You may be the fastest. I don't know if we have a way to check that. Congratulations, you've won nothing. Please do tell David. I'll tell him too. You'll probably get some hate mail from him. I don't know. But welcome to the winner's circle.
Thank you. It feels like it's a very kind circle to be in.
Yes. So, well, thank you so much for spending time with us today. This has been so much fun. And my last question to you is, what is one song or piece of music that you think our audience should go listen to after watching your interview?
So I am really grooving these days to a song called Sunday Best, and it's by a band called, I think it's Shadows, Sunday Best by Shadows. Or no, Surfaces. I knew it was an S. Sunday Best by Surfaces. It just has such a nice groove to it. It does have words. It's not a classical piece of music, but it's one of those great unloading the dishwasher songs, or, driving home from tap class songs when you're just feeling joy in your heart. Sunday Best. I highly recommend it.
Classical music can have words too.
Oh yeah. Sorry about that.
You sing in a choir.
I do. I meant like symphonic music, but it certainly doesn't have a classical music feel to it. I'll tell you that.
No, that's great. And I would be remiss if I did not show Penny during this episode, because, it's cold outside today. So, we're bundled up, and she has her little Christmas sweater on. And
I know she can't hear me because you have your ears in. But
I know she's readjusting. She's readjusting here. We've got our space heater next to us, so she's all nice and warm.
You know what? No, take care of that canine talent.
Yes, no animals have been harmed during the making of this episode. So, well, Virginia, it's been so fun to catch up a little bit and talk to you, face to face, since we don't get to do it very much anymore. But thanks so much for taking the time and for being our first guest to kick us off for the new season.
Yay! Happy season 4. I love
Happy
these.
season
So
4.
Thanks for having me on.
Anytime. Well, you take care and we'll talk soon.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.